Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Joel. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to be here. I was somewhere a couple of days ago. I can't remember. I've been traveling around so much. And there was ESPN was on TV and UALR was playing basketball. And I was standing there next to a man from out west, and he said, I know exactly where I was now. I just remembered. I was playing golf the first time I had a chance a long time with Samuel L. Jackson, the actor, and we looked and ULR was on television, and he said to me, not Bill Clinton's from Little Rock, he said, that's where Derek Fisher played, isn't it? So I just want to give credit where credit's due for giving Arkansas a good name. I am delighted to be here. I want to thank Haskell and Peggy Dickinson and Tom and Marge Schick for their support for this wonderful project. Dr. Bletcher, thank you. And I want to thank all of you who are here, but especially my great friend Senator David Pryor, who's on the board now, and all the members of the Arkansas legislature, Jane Rogers, Dr. Sugg, and the people who are here who are associated with the Clinton Library and School. I thank you for being here. Former Secretary of Transportation Rodney Slater, thank you for being here. And I want to thank Mac McClarty for his support of this event and the wonderful service he rendered to the administration. Thank you, Skip Rutherford. Thank you, Dean Campuris. And Maria Haley is here, who worked for this administration and mine, both places. And I'd like to thank the Mexican Consul General for being here. And Mary Good and her whole family met me outside. And I just want to say that, you know, I came here tonight to say that I think that her legacy over the long run for American history may be more important if we can just figure out how to replicate it. Mary and her sister, Dr. Betty Lowe, and her brother all came from a little town in Yell County where all the Clintons were from. So that's what our common tie is. After that, it ends, you know, because Mary and her sister actually knew useful things, and I had to go into politics. She came here 10 years ago to head up the Donaghey College of Engineering and Information Technology at UALR in a decision that I think has had and will have very fateful and completely positive consequences for this part of our state and for the entire state. But and I'd like to say that there are obvious reasons, but if you get a degree from here, you can get a job. And you can get a job relevant to today's and tomorrow's economy. But it's something you should know. We in America actually have quite a shortfall in the people we educate and place into engineering, science, and technology jobs. And as Mary was saying to me on the way in here, one big reason is in the 80s and the 90s, so many young people who had gifts in those areas went into finance instead because it paid so much more money. And I hope that one of the unintended positive consequences of the collapse of the last year is that there will be fewer jobs available there and people will be more attracted to building the economy instead of just fooling with it. And I think it will really be a very important thing. But a lot of you know this, but when she got her PhD in chemistry from the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, I hate to say when, in 1954, she was the first woman ever to get a PhD in Arkansas in the hard scientist. And she did it And she did it 14 years before another woman would repeat the feat in our state. Now, here's the relevance of that to the current moment and why her leadership here is so important. This shortage we have in science and technology workers was being filled until 9/11 with an influx of foreign students who came to our country, got degrees, and stayed here, and made our country stronger. After 9/11, for reasons that I completely understood but did not agree with, we made it a little bit harder for foreign students to come here and study and stay. And Dean Rutherford can tell you, we've experienced that at Clinton School too. We all saw it after 9/11, how much harder it was. As a result of that, we have to think about what we can do here. We could completely close the gap that exists between the United States and our competitors if women, African Americans, and Hispanic Americans went into science and technology fields with the same frequency as European, Asian, and Middle Eastern males in this country. We're in a position to help close that gap here at UALR. Also, Arkansas needs to close the gap. Today, after we celebrated the 5th anniversary of the library yesterday, I just went downstairs and shook hands with whoever happened to be wandering through the library. And I met a man that I had once met several years ago who used to be Speaker of the House in Missouri when the late Governor Mel Carnahan was governor. And I said, "What are you doing here?" And he said, "I'm here because I'm in alternative energy now. I'm in wind energy. And Arkansas has got these plants producing windmills." And he said, "I think you're really well positioned to the future, and we're trying to figure out how to develop more clean energy in Missouri." Just a little metaphor for where we're going here.